welcome back to Chain Reactions podcast. So, we are all about logistics, technology, transformation, and I'm Daniela Goodwin from Synergize Consultancy, and Dave.
I'm Dave Stubberfield from Carter Consultancy.
Perfect. We've been exploring a number of things, haven't we, Dave? Sustainability, tech, people, um, customer experience. And we mentioned last time that the increasing urgent is response basically is cybersecurity to logistics at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it was such a throwaway comment as well. We actually walked away and thought it's a massive topic. We need to hit this, don't we?
yes, exactly. And I think you being Carter Consultancy, an advisor with, decades of experience supporting, your operators, tech providers, and myself with the investors, I think we've both seen how, firsthand how cyber risks have gone from background concern to ultimately boardroom priority, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, you only need to look at the news and not be in this world at all, in this industry, and know that massive companies are being affected by this
Yeah.
almost daily. Whether it hits the news daily, there are cyber attacks left, right, and centre, and it's a massive, massive threat that
Yeah.
companies A need to be aware of, but B need to be doing something about right now, don't they?
Mhm. Yeah. It's a perfect example from a supply chain point of view was, Marks and Spencer's just a few months ago.
Yeah,
Massive, massive, massive cyber hack, and it caused absolute chaos. So I think cybersecurity, the biggest takeaway, if you're listening, watching this, is no longer an IT problem. It's a business continuity issue.
yeah, yeah. I think that for me is that is the truth right there. And we've all heard of phishing, but there's smishing, there's vishing, there's all of these different things that people are trying to get your information and get under the skin of the organization and attack you. And it
Yeah.
sounds very, very threatening like that, but that's the truth, and it's scary. I had a text this morning to say I've not claimed for my winter pension allowance for my fuel. And I was like, well, one, they've got my age category wrong straight away, but you look at the link and it's just not even real, and there's going to be vulnerable people out there that fall foul to that, and it's scary. It really is. But in the world of business, you might not have done anything like click a link. It could be you think you're on the phone to someone, you're
Hmm.
giving the right information to the right person,
Yeah.
and you're just taken straight away. And it's really scary, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I've seen it play out. Obviously, we heard all on the news about, Marks and Spencers, but think about, so there was a Maersk ransomware attack back in 2017, and it caused something like over $300 million in losses and disrupted like the whole of the global trade. So, more recently, I think there was logistics platforms, freight forwarders, the port operators. I think they've all faced breaches, that have stalled operations for days. And wow, what a horrendous! It just affects everything. It affects everything. And supply chains are, they're connected, digital. They're totally independent, interdependent. Um, and so obviously that means like a single weak link, a missed patch, unsecured email, like you've just said, phone call, that will take down your whole, like your entire operation, and it's catastrophic. So yeah, don't know why we didn't bring this one up sooner.
And you mentioned there as well, like it can take down your entire operation, but it also could have a ripple effect to suppliers, to customers, and the effect could be massive. Um,
Yeah.
and like you say, it could be from that simple unsecured email or phone call that you just think is legit, and you just go for it, and you go, "Yep, I'm just replying to that. Here's this information
Mm.
you asked for, a document, whatever it might be," and it's just the rug gets pulled from beneath your feet.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's scary. Um,
Yeah.
And I think for me, something that I've got better at, I'm not perfect at. And Daniela, I'm sure you're the same in your world with the tech side of things, but for all the different platforms I have and the things I use, password security is going to be one, but
Yeah.
multi-factor authentication is going to be another thing as well, that added layer of security.
Yeah.
Um, I think if you haven't got that MFA set up, you're asking for trouble, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
Um, and all of these different digital interfaces, the APIs that we use to get these different bits of tech talking to one another. How
Yeah.
secure are they? Because the the baddies out there, they're looking at any potential weak link that you might have, and if you've not thought of it, they probably have. So
Hmm.
you need to make sure that everything's covered and you've got the right processes, policies, and protocols in place that A, protect you, but B, if something was to happen, you've got things it's set in motion to be able to stop it from having a massive impact or effect.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree with you.
I
Yeah.
think another thing as well is people. The last episode, you were training me about sustainability and teaching me in education, and I think that's the word, isn't it? It's education.
Yeah.
People need to be aware of their impact and their part of the process. It's all well and good and saying, yep, cybersecurity is a massive thing we consider as part of an organisation, but if your people aren't living and breathing that, much like
Mm.
everything else we've mentioned on the podcast, you're going to fall foul again, aren't you?
Yeah. And it is the little things, God, we have so many different passwords, don't we, like to remember. And I know, I mean, I don't remember hardly any of my passwords, but when you do create a password, that's why they throw the, do you want to create your own one or do you want to use this one that you're never ever going to remember? But there is a reason for it. Don't use password 1234. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, we just have to be really careful and train people. You're right. I think cybersecurity is deemed as tech. Yes, absolutely. But people need to be aware of, the cyber hygiene, just understanding what the impact of you opening that email, or just check and double check that,
Mm.
does that, it might be someone at Carter Consultancy, but then it might be, at gmail.com or at 123.com, so you know be really diligent about what you're doing, and what tab you're opening up next.
Yeah, you can say it's human error, but that human has probably been duped into thinking something's real or legit. So, like you say, being vigilant is going to be the key thing there.
Yeah.
So it's not kind of a human error that you can say, "Oh, that's your fault." It's it's something that you've kind of potentially missed a step on. So teaching people to see, look, this has come from a suspicious email address or something. You
Yeah.
mentioned passwords, Daniela. I put in a password for a new platform the other day, and it said this password isn't secure. It's potentially been leaked or it's exposed before. And I'm sitting there thinking, how does this platform slash service know this,
Yeah.
and I don't? It's so straight away I was thinking, okay, maybe I need to change my passwords on everything just to make sure that everything's double secure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good practice as well, isn't it? Frequently changing passwords to make sure that nothing stays too stagnant or too still.
Yeah, I
Um,
think
just
Microsoft and Google prompt you, don't they, like with your emails
yeah,
to change your passwords. But I think the other thing that you've just touched on is the tools that we're using. And I suppose that brings me on to like map your third party risk. So if you're relying on, your SaaS tools or your cloud providers, especially from a logistics point of view, like your TMS, so your transport management system, WMS, warehouse management system, or like custom systems, you've got to understand like how they're protecting your data. So like ask the hard questions when like to these SaaS tools. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise you're opening up yourself up again to that.
I think this goes back to the previous episode when we were talking about sustainability. Those partners that are saying we want to see all your ESG and all of this, otherwise we won't work with you. You've
Mm-hmm.
almost got to flip that and say to these
100.
providers, show me what is secure and how you do it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we're not going to give you our money.
exactly.
Um, and it could be that this tool is used by millions of people around the world and it's fantastic. I don't want to name names because I don't know what their cybersecurity things might be like, but you don't want to pick up, let's say, some sort of management tool that helps you. It's got AI integrated, and it's just completely unsecure at the back end. You're stepping into a trap at that point,
Yeah,
that's completely
yeah,
outside of your control at that point. So
yeah.
yeah, really, really interesting.
Yeah. The one I suppose as well, like from like when you're looking at the supply chain, we sort of automatically say like retailers, manufacturers. Well, think about the manufacturers like your big aerospace companies and stuff like that, like defense companies and government, you know, the cybersecurity around that should be amazing. But we've seen breaches all over the place from time to time with that, right? So, it happens to everybody. We know that, but just be diligent and consistently change your passwords, consistently just monitor what you're doing, and get, if you've got an IT team or a cybersecurity team, right? So a lot of these defense companies now just have full-blown cybersecurity teams that are
Yeah.
constantly doing this to make sure that we are safe and your company's data is safe.
Mm.
Because if you lose your data, you don't have a company, right? So it's a big, big thing.
Yeah, it's massive, massive, and I think that bit we've just spoken about with AI as well, that governance, when companies start to use driven by AI or AI powered, I think a lot of people go, "There's no governance around AI. How is this managed?" And there's that kind of nagging feeling in the back of your head going, "I don't know if I trust this or not."
Yeah.
And a lot of people say if you're going to use something like ChatGPT, don't put your own information in it, put dummy information in it because you don't know how secure it might be.
Mm.
And I think that kind of seed of self doubt creeps in when something like AI is mentioned because the word governance is so important and powerful that people go, I don't know if that's going to be right or it's going to be the right solution for us because it's using some form of AI.
Yeah.
Um, I think it just shows how resilient we need to be
Yeah.
as people, as business owners or business leaders,
Yeah.
and how susceptible you might be to potentially losing deals should it all go wrong.
Yeah, and it like it is that commercial impact. It's not just about defense, it's about trust. So, the more RFPs now ask for cyber strategy, like what does that look like? Investors, I know, they want to know their portfolio won't be exposed. If you can't show that resilience, then you're going to lose deals as well. So
Mm,
that's probably, I would say, the next big thing if you're going to ask me that. Because I do think that you need, if you don't have one, and I think a lot of companies don't have this, is you need a cyber strategy because
mm,
the more tech you are building, you're building a whole ecosystem, and technology is normally at the core of all of that. So if you don't have a plan or a strategy or people around you that you can turn to or outsource, then yeah, you're gonna lose your data. You will be hacked or susceptible to be hacking. So yeah, show that you can do it and show an interest. And if you don't know, ask somebody like yourself and me who have partners in cybersecurity, that can really help and do a health check on your business. So yeah, come and ask us because we do really want to help.
What you've just said there, Daniela, is key, right? We're not the experts in cybersecurity. We just know the impact and how powerful it is to have the precautions and the measures in place to make
Yeah,
sure that you don't get hacked. And we've got the partners in place to give you those safety checks as well, like you mentioned.
yeah.
And this is why it's a part of the agenda for our showcase event
Hmm.
is because it's so important and
Yeah,
everyone needs to be aware of it. Um,
yeah,
I think there's always that kind of sort of subliminal thought or subconscious thought where you that's never going to happen to me. I'm not going to fall for that. Um,
and
and you
I've
just go,
I've been there on a personal note as well.
have
So
you?
yeah, yeah, I've been hacked.
Wow,
My partner actually gets hacked regularly. Like it's
really?
really bad. Yeah. So he has the
Wow,
fraud team. I would say his card gets um frozen probably every couple of months
wow.
because of his name and stuff like this. Well, we won't go into that one, but it just shows that if people are aware of, they just target you and they'll keep
Yeah,
targeting.
yeah.
So yeah, his security is through the roof at the moment, which is it's just great.
And that's it, right? You want to have those measures in place, so should the worst happen, you're covered, and
Yeah,
that could be policies, procedures to reverse that or counteract it as best as possible, or it could be some sort of insurance policy, right? It could be
yeah,
something you say, we've got our backs covered. Should
yeah,
something happen, should the worst happen, okay, we're covered.
yeah,
And that's a massive part of it as well, isn't it?
yeah,
It's making sure you're covering all the possibilities.
yeah. And I think in logistics, this is a chance for logistics to actually lead. Operators that get this right by investing in the cyber awareness, actually showing that they're doing something as well, that will put people off. Do you know what I mean? So,
Mm.
as
Mm.
in the hackers. But show that they're aware, show that the infrastructure is there, the governance, and they'll be the ones, those logistics, like the supply chain people that will be trusted to move the world forwards, and then hopefully everyone else will follow. That's
Yeah.
kind of my take on it, really.
Yeah, that's a really great point as well, because it's, if you can be the leaders in that, like you say, and put the hackers off to say, well, we can't try and be that company because they don't allow us to be a face of that or try and imitate them. I mean, we've all seen the text, the emails to say your parcel's waiting for you. Click this link.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is a massive, massive problem in the
Oh my
logistics
gosh.
industry.
Yeah.
So if you can be at the forefront of that, but also potentially giving that best practice to others as well, to say we've led from the front. This is
Yeah.
what you can do to help yourselves as well. That's going to be amazing for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that can be great advice that people take on board.
Yeah.
And I guess this is, again, like we say, just a part of the showcase that we're bringing to people on the 18th of September, and how it all links to one another. I think every topic and subject that we've spoken about so far on the podcast has led us to a point where they all interconnect. They're not insular, they're not sort of a little silo here, and we've spoken about that. They all connect to one another, and if you get it right, everything should come together.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything else you want to add to that, Daniela?
No, I think just, well, yeah, one thing I think is if you are a logistics company, really, really start thinking. We are not that far away from Christmas. I've said it. And think about all the deliveries. Think about the logistics of all the stuff that you've got to move, the goods, and think about the governance and the security around that. And if you haven't, then do some research, get in touch with us, and we are more than happy to help. But do start thinking about it because it's not going away. Cybersecurity is key.
Yeah. And you've said the C word as well. So Christmas is going to be here before we know it as well. And again, it just shows that time isn't always on your side. You can go, oh yeah, Christmas, that's a few months away. We can sort that out now. Sorry, we don't have to sort that out now. Sorting it out now prevents the problem. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you can fill those gaps and create opportunities as well to make some great things happen,
Yes.
then that could be a good Christmas all round, couldn't it? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Give us a like, give us a share, and we will see you in the next episode.
Cheers, everyone.